Hello, and welcome to the Deschutes County Clerk's Office. My name is Steve Dennison. I'm your Deschutes County Clerk, and also presenting in this slideshow are Amy Sorenson, our Recording Supervisor, and Michael Louie, our Elections Supervisor. Our office is responsible for a variety of services. We're responsible for managing the County Record Center and permanent archives. And we ensure the organization, preservation, and accessibility of vital county records and historical documents, while at the same time maintaining compliance with record-keeping regulations and facilitating access to archived information. We're also where you would go to record any real property records. We record and index documents that affect real property titles, ensuring compliance with Oregon recording statutes, while refraining from providing legal advice or recording non-compliant documents. We issue marriage licenses, and in fact, the county clerk's office is the only place, is the only office where one may be issued. So we are the only spot in the county for couples to visit for that service. We process passport applications. We're only the one of two places in the county that provide that service, the USPS being the other location. We're responsible for managing the issuance and renewal and record keeping for county business licenses. We oversee found property, so finders keepers. Anything valued at $250 or more, it requires that the person that finds this property to notify our office within 10 days, publish a notice in a local newspaper for 2 consecutive weeks, and if that item remains unclaimed after 3 months, the finder becomes the owner of that found property. We also administer the Property Value Appeals Board, formerly known as BOPTA, or the Board of Property Tax Appeals. We facilitate the process for property owners to contest and appeal assess property valuations to ensure fair taxation. We also conduct elections and facilitate voting. So as the county clerk is the chief elections officer in our county, but this means that the responsibility of our office is that we oversee and manage all aspects of the electoral process within the county. Some of those responsibilities include conducting elections, maintaining the voter registration records, ensuring compliance with state and federal election laws, and we certify the election results. Many other pieces as well that we'll discuss here further in this presentation. Our office consists of 11 full-time employees who all play vital roles in ensuring the smooth operation of the many functions that we're responsible for. And we continuously evaluate ways to optimize our resources and improve output without compromising the quality service that our customers have grown to know. And as a testament to that statement, as you can see, we've maintained our staffing levels for the past 20 plus years. For instance, in 2003, we had 10.5 full-time employees compared to our 11 today. Considering the growth of our community and our county, increasing a 0.5 FTE over the course of 20 years, again, is a testament to leveraging technology and continuously evaluating process for efficiencies while we're providing these core services.
Thank you, Steve. I'm Amy Sorenson, the Recording Supervisor at Deschutes County Clerk's Office, and I will be sharing with you a little bit about what we do in recording. So a good question to start with is, what is recording? It involves accessing public land records, preserving documents. It gives constructive notice to the public. It's a tool for researching family history and genealogy, as well as deeds, mortgages, liens, easements, CC&Rs specific to real property. It also aids in determining the title or interest to property and perfecting a document, which is the act of recording. All recording clerks in the state of Oregon follow ORS 205. In general, Oregon law requires the county clerk to keep and maintain the records of the county governing body. We are also to have custody and preserve all deeds and mortgages of real property, and we record plats, contracts, some but not all liens, and other interests affecting the title to real property. What we do not record are documents typically presented to the court clerk, such as small claim suits, name change petitions, wills, trust documents, probate documents, or durable power of attorneys. Some general history about recording that is worth noting. Public land records have been a fundamental feature of American law since before the founding of our country. For example, in early 1600s, a Connecticut court insisted that all bargains or mortgages of land will have not value until they be recorded. Many of these early recording laws, as it is today, were put into place to prevent disputes over property rights. Recording systems create an archive of permanent records which are designed to survive disasters such as floods or financial panics. In today's digital world, the recorder's office faces a balancing act, protecting a person's personal information while allowing public access to these records. There are two main types of recording systems in effect today, manual and computerized. The primary driver in both systems is the same, data entry of names. For example, buyer, seller, borrower, lender, taxpayer, etc. This is the information that makes up the index. In 1999, Deschutes County was the first in the state to allow online access to its records. Though we still have the old books preserved in our archive center, they are no longer available to the public. Instead, the historical indexes and images have been scanned and made available for the public to search on our website. Most people do not know that they have access to their deeds, mortgages, documents, CC&Rs, easements, or liens in our digital research room. This is a very friendly site allowing users to search documents that reference their name or the legal description of their property. Currently, users may view the details and images of recorded documents. They may print or download a copy for free or purchase a certified copy online. And they may also order a certified copy of their marriage license if they applied in Deschutes County. The site is available 24/7, bringing peace of mind to property owners fearing they may be a victim of deed fraud. To give you an idea of how many records we record, on average, we record about 59,000 per year, which is about 4,900 per month. Our historical high was in fiscal year 2005 and 2006, with over 94,000 documents. Last year, we recorded roughly 35,000 documents, and approximately 76% of our documents are received electronically. Recording real property records is not the only service we offer in the clerk's office. We also issue marriage licenses, clerk for the Property Value Appeals Board, and serve as a passport acceptance agency for the U.S. Department of State, offering the same services as the U.S. Post Office. Just a brief overview of marriage licenses. Currently, we are issuing 1,400 to 1,500 marriage licenses per year, averaging about approximately 100 marriage licenses each month, though during the peak months, this number reaches nearly 200. We expect these numbers to continue to climb as more people move to the area and more couples choose Central Oregon as their wedding destination. And once again, Deschutes County led the way in Oregon, being the first county to offer couples the ability to apply for their license online, making it easy for couples to apply from anywhere in the world before visiting our office to purchase their license. For those of you that may not be familiar with the Property Value Appeals Board, also known as PVAB, the following is a quick overview of what it is. PVAB is a citizen board appointed by governing body. It gives property owners the opportunity to appeal their property values set by the assessor. The clerk's office serves as the clerk for the board, setting hearing schedules and issuing board orders. The deadline to file is December 31st each year or next business day if holiday or weekend. Hearings take place from mid-February to April 15th. Looking at the statistics over the years, anybody wondering what led to the spike from 2007 to 2013? The general rule of thumb is as property values go down, petitions go up. You can see that during the recession, property values went down, but because of Measure 50, taxes remained high for some owners. Not many people know that the clerk's office has been a passport accepting agency for the U.S. Department of State since 1997. We review passport applications by appointment for new applicants, minors, and applicants who have a lost or damaged passport. Peak months are typically January through March when children are out of school on winter or spring break, and with upcoming travel dates in the spring and summer. Word of advice for those planning to apply for a passport: always plan ahead, look at current passport expiration dates before making travel plans, and understand that processing times are subject to change and can vary for each applicant. So at this time, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you what we do in the clerk's office. I look forward to meeting you in person and answering any questions you may have about the services we offer. I will now turn it over to Steve and Michael to go over elections. Thank you.
Now we'll dive a little bit deeper into elections and voting. Vote by mail. It is the Oregon way. Oregon has been a pioneer with the concept of vote by mail, also known as VBM. Going back to May of 1981, when at the time Lynn County Clerk Del Riley traveled down to San Diego County, California, and worked elbow to elbow with the staff down there to learn the concept of vote by mail. That November, Lynn County held its first VBM election. And over the course of time, VBM was authorized for special elections within the state of Oregon. And then on November 3rd, 1998, a statewide initiative measure passed by a two-thirds vote to institute vote by mail for all elections, adding primaries and generals. In 2000, Oregon became the first state to conduct all elections entirely by mail. Since then, other states have joined the vote by mail movement. Otherwise known, and today others might refer to this as vote at home. And some of those vote at home states are California, Colorado, Hawaii, Nevada, Utah, Vermont, and Washington. There are still many states that are testing and have serious discussions to move in the direction of vote by mail and have other considerations for vote by mail if they're not entirely voting by mail at the time. And by now, the secret's out. Vote by mail adds voter convenience and satisfaction. It enables voters to review their ballots at home, allowing ample time for consideration. And even just a few years ago, there was a Pew Research Center survey saying that VBM has a high voter approval, with 65% supporting no excuse absentee voting. Of course, there are financial savings, the reduction in costs, rather than equipping and staffing traditional voting places that you wouldn't otherwise have with vote by mail. Turnout is increased due to that convenience factor, particularly in lower turnout elections, such as local elections. And referencing another study just a few years ago, shows that vote by mail boosts turnout without significant partisan bias. So there are many benefits to vote by mail, and Oregon, having voted by mail for over 25 years, has refined the process and has proven that vote by mail is a successful model for voting.
Thanks, Steve. As a reminder, my name is Michael Louie. I'm the election supervisor for the Deschutes County Clerk's office. And on this slide, I'm going to be talking about voter registration. Now, voter registration is of significant importance to us because, as a former colleague of mine liked to say, you can't have elections without voters. To be a registered voter in Oregon, you have to be a U.S. citizen, an Oregon resident, and at least 16 years of age. In Oregon, we have pre-registration for 16 and 17-year-olds who can register to vote, but they have to wait, of course, until they turn 18 to vote in an election. Now, there are a few different ways to register to vote. The tried and true traditional method, of course, is paper registration cards, which are available at our office, city halls, post offices, and libraries. Voters can also register to vote online through the Secretary of State's OregonVotes.gov website, and we'll discuss more about that option in the coming slides. Voters can also register to vote at the DMV through Oregon Motor Voter, which allows a voter to automatically register to vote if they have a qualifying transaction at the Department of Motor Vehicles. Now, on the right-hand side of this slide, you can see some historical voter registration statistics. And as you can see, you might not be aware, but voter rolls are cyclical, and they increase greatly during presidential cycles and then dip down in the odd years. Deschutes County in the recent years has not really seen dips in our voter rolls due to the tremendous growth that we've seen in our county, and this has correlated directly also with our voter registration rolls, which have increased significantly in recent years. But in the most recent years, you might be able to see a saturation or a tapering off of the rates of registration, and this is due to the fact of saturation of motor voter and just due to slower growth overall in the county. But as of this month, in August 2025, we have 163,619 registered voters. Now, voter registration activity is not limited to just new registrations. We also receive updated registrations, and it's a living, breathing machine, if you will. There's continual and constant activity with our voter registration rolls, with people, of course, moving within the county to other counties, in and out of other states. So it's a very fluid process that we're continually and daily work on to keep our voter registration rolls active and up to date. So some other methods voter registrations are updated through are, of course, through direct contacts from voters. They fill out a new registration card and update their new address, letting us know they've moved away, or simply added a mailing address, whether they've potentially obtained a post office box. Registrations are also updated through the national change of address through the United States Postal Service. And this, of course, is the, if you've ever moved, you can update your mailing through the Postal Service, but that gives also an opportunity to update one's registration. Registrations are also updated through the Electronic Registration and Information Center, also known as ERIC, which is a multi-state consortium of voter registration systems and databases from various states, and it's basically information sharing so that we can track voters who move across state lines. Registrations are also updated through undeliverable mail, so if we mail a voter a ballot or a notification card or even a letter and it comes back as undeliverable to us, by law, we are required to inactivate that voter because we're not able to confirm the resident status of that voter. So we put this voter in an inactive status, which means they're still eligible to vote, but we halt the mailing of all future mail pieces and election mail to that voter at the address that they provided. But at the same time, that kicks off and queues a voter confirmation card that is sent out to that voter at that address, and it's actually, that card is forwardable. So if the voter had moved recently and just didn't update the registration, we can get that card to their new address, and then they can confirm whether they've simply moved to a new address, or maybe they've moved out of state, or simply no longer wish to be registered. And then lastly, we, of course, update our registrations through deceased records. So this is through our state and county health departments, Social Security Administration data and DMV data, and obituary information through online and print newspapers. And as mentioned, we work very hard to maintain our voter rolls and keep them up to date as possible. And we work on this daily to maintain a most current status for our voter registration rolls. Now, on these next few slides, we wanted to share with you how you as a voter can be the most well-informed as possible. Unfortunately, in recent years, elections has been significantly impacted by mis and disinformation, and especially online. There's a lot of information swirling out there that really just cannot be trusted. So we wanted to share with you where you can go for trusted information about elections and voting. The first resource we'd like to share with you is the Secretary of State's website, OregonVotes.gov, and the next resource is our website, the County Elections website. This first primary source we'd like to share with you, as mentioned, is OregonVotes.gov, which is the Secretary of State's website, which has a lot of information and functionality. On this site, people can register to vote, of course. Military and overseas voters can find information to assist them with voting abroad. Voters with disabilities can register to vote. Accessibly access information on this site, since it's built in a way that's accessible to them and their accessible reading devices. Voters with disabilities can also mark their ballot in an accessible format. The public in general can access historical election data, voter registration trends, learn about election laws, and the ORSs and OARs, which govern how we conduct elections here at the county. The public can also access campaign finance information. And last but not least, voters can use the My Vote portal, which is a one-stop shop where voters can access their personal information about voting, check and update registration, find out who their election officials are, and check their ballot status, locate ballot drop boxes in their area, and read voting instructions. Now here's an example of the splash page, if you will, for the My Vote portal. We'll first prompt a voter with entering in their first and last name and their date of birth to confirm that they are indeed a registered voter. On the next page, upon a successful login, voters can view their information if they're a registered voter to confirm is the information such as their residence and mailing addresses, are they up to date, are they correct? Voters can also verify party affiliation. They can also find out, as I mentioned before, the exact location of each of our drop boxes and drop sites, and learn who their current elected officials are and the contact information for them. And 30 days before each election, voters can also see exactly what's on their ballot and their specific voting precinct. And of course, it provides a direct link to our website. Speaking of our website, here is the second trusted source that we'd like to share with you. The Deschutes County Elections Office website has a wealth of information containing information about each election. We post key dates and deadlines. We provide information for candidates and jurisdictions for measure filings, and we post measure filing and candidate filing forms here for access and information to help those who are looking to run for office or file a measure. We also list the candidates and measures that are already filed and will appear on the ballot so that either other candidates or members of the public or even media can see what is going to be on the ballot for the upcoming election. We will post our voters pamphlet and a list of our drop box locations with the dates and times so that voters can be well informed and make well informed decisions during the voting process. And we also have voter statistics and maps and registration statistics going back to 2006 that provides precinct, city, and county maps are also available for free download. Also for download is purchased available data from our voter registration system, and this is kicked off by a voter information request form that is required to be filled out and detailed, and this comes in handy particularly for like candidates and campaigns who are looking to do some sort of outreach or get out the vote campaigns to particular precincts or a voter demographic to just bolster a particular stance on an upcoming ballot measure, or of course to advocate for a particular candidate. But this information is public information on the voter registration portal, and we track who requests the information because they are, of course, responsible for that information, and we want to make sure that information is safeguarded and used in a responsible manner. In the next slide, I'm going to hand the baton back to Steve, who's going to talk to you about election technology and security.
As discussed earlier, our office continues to evaluate our processes to employ technology to help gain efficiencies where it makes sense. One great example of this is with our ballot sorter. Our ballot sorter was purchased back in 2011 from a company then called Bell & Howell, but then changed hands to Fluence Automation, but is currently named Bluecrest. That's our current vendor. With 2 people running the machine, they can sort about 20,000 ballots in 5 to 6 hours, while also capturing the signatures for each ballot return envelope. It used to take election workers, it was roughly 12 people, about 7 hours to sort the same amount, 20,000 ballots. This allows for around 700 signatures to be verified per hour. Before we had the sorter, it took more than twice this long for the same amount of signatures to be verified. We'll mention this probably a few times throughout this presentation, but we check the signature on every single ballot return envelope that comes back to us. And each person that verifies these signatures receives training in forensic handwriting analysis annually that's conducted by the Secretary of State's office. Now on to our tabulation equipment. The tabulation equipment used in Oregon, could also be known as the voting system, is certified at both the state and federal levels. The 3 systems that are used throughout the state of Oregon are Election Systems and Software, or ES&S, HART InterCivic, and ClearBallot. All of this equipment follows strict security protocols, remaining completely isolated from external access, including the internet, Wi-Fi, or county networks. Additional security measures and protocols are in place to enhance and ensure the integrity of our election systems. Ballot tabulation has evolved significantly over the last 25 years. And here in Deschutes County, from 1992 through 2017, we used what's called an optical ballot scanner from a vendor named ES&S, I just previously mentioned. And that system required each ballot to be manually inspected and quote unquote enhanced before that ballot could be scanned. It was a very manual process and required a lot of people hours to work. In 2017, the county purchased a new voting system from Clear. And the biggest difference between this system and the previous was that it replaced that the ballots can be scanned and then inspected. After the ballots are scanned, everything else is handled on screen on the computer. This greatly improves throughput while still preserving the accuracy and security of the process. The May of 2017 special district election, was the first election where this system was used. Some of the other highlights of the Clear Ballot system are that it uses commercial off-the-shelf hardware. That means that the scanners and laptops used with the system are not proprietary, but are purchased by our vendor from other third parties such as Dell and Fujitsu. Dell for our laptops and PCs, and Fujitsu for our scanners. The company regularly provides certified software upgrades, and the system, as mentioned before, really does reduce that manual processing. Everything is done on screen, and that means there's no need to segregate, enhance, or duplicate ballots by hand. Write-in processing is done on screen, and as a result, we use less supplies. We also have increased our ability to audit our election results because the ballot images are available right there at our fingertips with that scanned image. No need to shuffle through boxes of ballots to find something that we need to resolve or audit. Because we're no longer duplicating ballots by hand, we have reduced ballot inventory as well. All of these efficiencies increase throughput. You can see on that table at the bottom of the screen that our process now takes, we can process twice as many ballots per hour than with our previous system. So many efficiencies are gained by utilizing the modern clear ballot tabulation system. Election security is something that we always have top of mind. But I will say, Oregon election systems are the most secure and accurate that they've ever been. However, the threats do remain real. The Secretary of State's office and state elections, their systems thwart over 1 million knocks at the door or on their systems daily. More locally, our county IT, which includes a cybersecurity team, are quite vigilant as well and protect our systems. Some of these security measures include the creation of an annual ballot security plan, which covers ballot security from creation to destruction, both in-house and with our vendors. This plan is filed with the Secretary of State's office and must be approved by that office before we may process ballots for any election. Elections are conducted with paper ballots. Voter signatures are compared, and ballots are only counted when signatures match. Our voter registration database is backed up and preserved should a bad actor gain access. All voting systems in Oregon have been federally and state certified, and that federal certification is by an accredited test laboratory. Ballots are counted in secure rooms with 24-hour surveillance, and as mentioned before, are not connected to the internet. System certification, otherwise known as logic and accuracy tests, are performed 3 times during each election process, proving the accuracy of our systems. Hand count audits are performed after each primary, general, and special election. And this consists of selecting randomly or recounting or hand counting randomly selected ballots, where the election board reviews each ballot to prove the results were produced and accurate and clearly reflect the voter's intent. Counties have received training from Homeland Security, who has also conducted security assessments of each county facility. And lastly, the process is entirely open to observers, and we welcome anybody that is curious about our process to see it firsthand. We often are asked, is election fraud a widespread problem in Oregon? And as you can see here by information provided by the Oregon Secretary of State's office, the answer to that question is no. But Oregon elections are secure and are protected against voter frauds. There are so many checks and balances and measures in place that deter any voter fraud, any widespread voter fraud. And a review of the vote by mail system, this bottom bullet, as you can see, that with roughly 61 million ballots cast over the course of almost 20 years, 38 criminal convictions of voter fraud were obtained. That's quite a small result, but to say it doesn't happen would not be true. However, the rate is not what it is purported to be if you listen to outside sources. Speaking of outside sources, I'd like to say, when you're listening for election information and trying to learn more, just know your trusted source. Here at the county, we are the local elections officer, so we are a trusted source for that information. At the state level and above us is the Oregon Secretary of State's office. They are a trusted source. There are other sources listed on this page that you can reference. I would just say that when you're listening to information, maybe in the media, or you see something on social media or read something in the paper, and you're curious about it, call us. We have the information that supports our process and the laws we follow, and can very easily explain what it is, or get to the bottom of something else that you may be hearing from another source. So my appeal and my request to you would just be to know your trusted source, vet information, before going down any other, continuing your research in other obscure places. Go to the trusted source of the people that are responsible for the process. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentation. Amy, Michael, and I truly appreciate your curiosity in learning more about our office and our responsibilities. If you have any questions for us, please don't hesitate to call or come by. Our address is listed on this slide, as well as our phone numbers and emails. We look forward to seeing you in person during the tour of our department coming up here in October. Thank you.